Aloha's. So now what we're doing is we're section 8.5, but we're on part 2 now. And part 2 deals with what we call complex fractions. Now, why is this in part 8.5? Well, if you notice all 3 of these problems here, they kind of have adding and subtraction and a fraction together. What the heck is going on? Woo! Well, we're going to start out with a real tough one here, and then we're going to kind of go from there, okay, you guys? But here is an example. But obviously, the tough one in this problem is the one that's the more involved. So let's start with that one. You guys seem like some super unreal Algebra 2 students this year. So here we go. Let's write this one down. X plus, obviously, this is going to be different, okay, than what we did when we added and subtracted these. If anything, they're a little bit more okay and a little bit more fun, all right? But just like always, we factor. Okay, we factor. A lot of factoring going on here. Factor that, okay, right? Should do my side work. That's a 1 and a -2. That'd be a -1 times a -1. All right, so that's x minus 1, x minus 1. That's my first little expression. Plus, I got an x here, but then I got to factor that bottom, right? What would that one be? Will that be a 2 on top, a -3 on the bottom? That would be a, what would I do there? Well, I got to get +2, so it'd be a -2 and a -1, right? For sure that works. So we got x minus 2, x minus 1, and then it's all over. That's a complex fraction. Why is it so complex? It's so complex because there's fractions everywhere. All right, fractions upstairs in the numerator, fractions downstairs in the denominator, all within a fraction. Crazy. That's complex. But guess what? We're going to make it less complex. That's the whole purpose of doing these, okay? Now, x over. Okay, we're done with those two. Now let's go to this guy right here. Do a little side work with that guy. That's a 4 and a 4. Ooh, a -4, that'd be a -2 and a -2. Right, hopefully we are good to go with this stuff. Now, if you're not good at factoring these super duper fast, you must come in for extra help. That guy there, that's a difference of squares. Remember, that's x squared minus 2 squared, which means that's x minus 2x plus 2. Okay. Whew, lot to take in, all right, where I'm already going to erase some of this stuff. Right, we could do restrictions, right? What can't x be? X can't be 1, x can't be 2, x can't be -2, right? But this problem didn't ask restrictions, so let's straight right away go to my LCD. Guess what? Same rules. The only thing is I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 little expressions. So I'm going to write the denominator in number 1. X minus 1, x minus 1. And then I just do the comparison game. Let's look at 2. X minus 2 is here. Ooh, I got to add that. There wasn't one over there, but there is an x minus 1, so I don't have to add another one. Okay, 1 is done, 2 is done. Let's go to 3 now. Okay, whew. Now how do I do it for 3? Well, x minus 2, and then another x minus 2. Well, there's only one x minus 2, so then I got to do that. What the heck? It's getting crazy. All right, then we go to 3's done. Then we go to the last one. There's an x minus 2 already up there. There's not an x plus 2, though. So then I got to add an x plus 2. Oh, my God, that's the longest LCD ever. But guess what? All you have to do with these problems is you are going to play a cross-out game from the start. So you're going to multiply all of this by number 1. And if you do that, the x minus 1s would cancel out. And if the x minus 1's canceled out, you'd be left with the x plus 3, okay? And then you'd be left with an x plus 2, an x minus 2, and another x minus 2. So I would have to multiply all that stuff. But don't worry. This first problem, we're just getting used to what you need to do. Right, then remember, we got this major fraction bar. All right, and then my next guy, compare this to that. Well, keep that plus sign, plus you have an x up there, so we keep that x. The x minus 2, spling, gone. The x minus 1, spling, gone. And I'm left with an x plus 2, an x minus 1, and an x minus 2. Woo, you'd have to multiply all that out. Good thing I'm not doing that for the first one. And then we compare 3 with that one. The x minus 2 cancels out, and the x minus 2 cancels out. So you're left with all 3. That x has to stay, and then you're left with x plus 2, x minus 1, x minus 1. So you're really playing what's missing, and what's missing you got to keep. All right, so a little bit different than adding and subtracting. This is just complex fractions. Now we got that 2, right? We carry that minus, we carry that 2. X minus 2, so that gone, everything else has to stay. 2 of those guys and 1 of those guys. And then it would be so much multiplication, but I'm not going to make you do all that. We will work all the way out a problem that's definitely more doable with our next one. Okay, but that, boy, you know what I like doing sometimes? I like starting out with how tough it could be and then kind of rolling from there. So that's as tough as it could be. So guess what? It's just going to get more okay from here on out. But if you notice, these are a little bit different from adding and subtracting. We just play a comparison game right away. We cross out what's common, but we got to add what's not common. All right. So what would that look like? Okay. How about this guy? Not too bad, right, class? I've got like 3 mini fractions. 1, 2, actually I got 4. 3, 4. Right now, is 1 really a fraction? Well, for sure it is. I could write that as 1 over 1. So let's find an LCD. What's my LCD? Well, everything's factored, but I got an X there, so I'm going to add that. Gone. Ooh, Y, I'm going to add that Y. There's already a Y, so I don't have to add that, and then I could add a 1. But do we ever add a 1? No. So it's really just X times Y. So what do I do with that? Well, remember, we are going to, in essence, when I show the work from this, we're going to multiply everything on the top by xy and everything on the bottom by xy. So if I multiply this by this, the x's, spling, spling, will cross out. And you'll be left with the 1 times the y. And then it's the plus sign. And then we're going to multiply this by this. Look at, now the y's cancel out, and you already have an x there. But since just the y's cancel out, you got to add an x right there. That'd be x squared. Okay, now let's go to the bottom. We share this to this. The y's would cancel out, and you'll be left with the 1 and an x plus, and if I multiply this by this, nothing crosses out. So it's 1 times x times y. So what's that give me? Y plus x squared. What's that give me on the bottom? X plus xy. And nothing can cross out because of the plus signs right there, right? Remember, it's got to be surrounded by multiplication and able to cross it out, right? That's dealing with complex fractions. Not too bad, right? Not too bad, but definitely different. So it's going to take some practice problems to get used to it. And why do we bring complex fractions up right now? Because they're very important for some word problems that we're going to do in a little bit. Okay, but once again, we're going to keep this guy at about 20. You know, I'm going to try my best to keep a little bit under because I know the last one we went a little bit over. All right, let's get those are kind of okay problems. I want to look at my set of problems. We want to do one maybe a little bit tougher. Oh, shoot, I guess they don't get too crazy. All right, let's try 29. 3 over x minus 4. There's fraction number 1. Complex, because it's fractions within fractions. That's 1 over 1, remember, that's fraction number 2. And then fraction number 3 is this guy right here. Boom. So remember, we start with LCD. All right, what's my LCD? Well, my first fraction was this guy here, and the denominator is x minus 4. This is my second fraction right there, which is a 1. And then here's my third fraction, which is an x minus 4, which is already there. So there's my LCD. So I'm going to multiply the top by that and the bottom. So in essence, what you're doing is you're multiplying everything by the LCD. We're not getting a common denominator. Very important to understand that difference. When I multiply this by this, the x minus 4s, spling, spling, they go away, and you're only left with a 3 on the top. Sweet! Okay, and then you take this and you multiply it by the 1. So we're going to do 1 times x minus 4. Nothing crosses out. But then you minus because of the minus sign. And then you do this times this, and the x minus 4s cancel out. You're just left with 2. So now it's just simplification, right? It'd be x minus 4 when you distribute that 1 minus a 2. So it'd be 3 over x minus 6. The 3 and the 6 cannot reduce because of that minus sign. Okay? So I don't know about you guys, but not too bad. Does it get tougher than that? For sure it does. Remember that problem we started with today? It never gets that tough, but it definitely gets a little bit tougher than this page here. Let's go to the next guy. I hope we can get some fun ones because the fun ones are the long ones and the long ones are the fun ones. Right, right? Oh, snap. I guess not. We're straight to word problems. All right. A woman drives an SUV, right? Because she's driving the kiddos around. It's only 10 miles per gallon. Oh, that would not be fun. Her husband, like me, I got a electric car, unlimited miles. But let's say I got a hybrid, it's 60 miles per gallon. That's solid. Every work they travel the same amount of miles. But they want to improve on their combined miles per gallon. They have two options on how they can improve it. All right. Two options. Me and my wife, we just actually went through this. Asked me in class what we got to help improve our situation. All right, so here we go. Option one. Well, first, we need to always, whenever we do problems, introduce a variable. Let x equal. X is always going to be something you have no information about. And guess what? I have no information about how many miles they drive. So let x equal number of miles driven. Okay, there we go. So we got option one. Okay, we're going to put over here. We're going to put option two over here, and we are going to see what we should go with. Option one, they can tune up, service their SUV, and increase the gas mileage by 1 and keep 60 miles per gallon for me. Or they can buy a new hybrid that gets 80 miles a gallon, but the SUV is going to stay at 10 miles per gallon. All right, so here it goes. Let's check it out. Okay, option one. All right, how the heck would I set up something like this? Well, option one is the wife drives X miles, the husband drives X miles. That's miles, right? And we want to figure out what gives me the best miles per gallon. So miles on top per, and then on the bottom goes gallons. Well, how do I figure that out? Well, if we increase my wife's driving by from 10 to 11, then that would be miles over 11 miles per gallon, which gives me gallons, believe it or not, right? Okay. Um, and if I add, ooh, I'm keeping the hybrid as it is. So we got miles driven over, I get 60 miles per gallon, which these would both give me gallons. So it'd be miles per gallon, right? And so that would be, what would that be? That'd be 2x over x over 11 plus x over 60. All right, so I'm going to finish this guy. So what do we get here? We get, ooh, complex fraction, LCD. LCD of the top, that's 2x over 1. On the bottom, I've got an 11 and a 60. That's 660. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 660. If I do that, whoa, I might have to get out the little calculatora. Oh, I don't need a calculator. I just need the double 660, which would be 1320x over, if I multiply all of that, 660, and if I multiply that by x over 11, that's going to give me 60x. And if I multiply that by that, that'd be 660 divided by 60, which would be 11x. So here I get 1320x over 71x. X goes spling, spling, and I will need a calculator for this. 1320 divided by 71 gives me 18.6 miles per gallon. Oh my gosh, the wife is killing. Those darn kids are killing our gas mileage. Well, I don't know about you, but option two, going to 80 miles per gallon, would that be better? What do you guys think at home? Well, let's check it out. Wife drives X, I drive X. On top is miles, right? That's how we get miles per gallon, right? Miles per gallons got to go on the bottom. Well, we're going to buy a new hybrid, but her car is going to be the same. So since her car is the same, it would be miles per miles over miles per gallon, which would be 10 miles per gallon, which would give me gallons, right? Miles per gallon, that's the whole point. Plus, I got my new ride that gives 80. All right, so let's find an LCD for that side. LCD is the top, gives me a 2x. That's a 2x over a 1 if I wanted to write it as a fraction. And I get this on the bottom. All right, so we get 1 times 10 times 80. That's 800. So we're going to multiply everything by 800. I got to multiply the top by 800 and everything in the bottom by 800. It gives me 1600 on top. On the bottom, if I multiply 800 by this, it gives me 80x. If I multiply 800 by this, it gives me 10x. So that gives me 1600x over 90x. The x is spling, spling. Oh, snap. Oh, I think it's going to be close, class. What do you think? We do 1600 divided by 90? Oh, snap. That's 17.8 miles per gallon. Oh, should I just tell her it's better gas mileage so I can get the new car? Maybe. Um, no, that'd be dishonest. We won't do that. Ask me in class what we did to fix our gas mileage situation, which I'm not going to lie is pretty darn good. We get hooked up with it. I think we're at like 300 miles per gallon. How the heck did we do that? Ask it in class and I will tell you. You guys, that's it for part 2. Complex fractions can be tough. So I thought I'd make a different video on it. Make sure you're doing your homework. Make sure you're doing the math Excel. Make sure you're coming in early if you need extra help. Aloha's.